I have already applied the fiberglass matting to the inner wheelhouse area, bridging all the gaps and whatnot from the patchwork. And while that's curing, I can't do any cosmetic work on that just yet. I'm going to go ahead and start working on the outer patch panel. The first application of body filler needs to be what's called a tight application, meaning you're pressing down hard on the filler to get it into the scratches in the metal. Each coat should be pretty well pressed down, but it's especially important on your first application. When you're doing this, you're not so much looking for fill, but you're looking for a layer for subsequent applications of body filler to be able to adhere to. I'll let the first application cure almost all the way before I start blocking it. That way you get good adhesion on the feather edges. Follow-on applications where I'm not going all the way to the edge necessarily, I'll block it a little bit when it's about halfway cured, kind of like a rubbery type of a state, and you can really take it down quickly that way. And then give it a little bit more time to cure, and then I'll block it like I'm fine-tuning a little bit more. Now that I've blocked all the highs, what I'm doing now is I'm just using the front edge of the block sander to put some scratches in the low spots that haven't got any scratches in it yet, so that the next application will adhere. Now I'm starting to concentrate on getting the fill that I'm looking for, or that I'm needing for this particular repair. But also I'm pressing the filler into the scratches in the existing body filler, but you don't have to do it quite as hard as if you're doing an application on bare metal. That tool there I was just using is nothing more than a coat hanger with a loop shaped like a hot dog. What that does is it cleans up the sandpaper, because the sandpaper tends to load up a lot more if you sand it when it's in that still soft state prior to a full cure, which I like to do for the initial blocking of an application to take everything down quickly. Well, not everything down quickly, but the real high spots and the high ridges or the spreader marks. It's imperative that you blow off the panel prior to each application of filler so that you're not applying your next layer of filler on top of filler dust. I use plexiglass to mix my filler on. A lot of people use cardboard, but there's a myth or a rumor that if you use cardboard, the cardboard will suck some of the resins out of the body filler. And whether that be true or not, I don't know, but plexiglass lasts for years, so I just use plexiglass. On a job that needs this much filler, after about the third or fourth coat of filler, you can really start to see where the lows are bad, and then you can concentrate your filler application on just those areas so that you're not skim coating the entire area and blocking most of it off. Taking a sip of beer and doing a few sanding strokes, and taking another sip of beer and doing another couple of sanding strokes. Here is some better footage of when I'm sanding the body filler when it's only about halfway cured, and you can see that it comes down quite a bit quicker, but the trade-off is it loads up the sandpaper pretty bad. Since I already have good door alignment, I'm going to sand each application of body filler all the way down to bare metal at the front edge of the quarter panel and maintain the door alignment. Here again, I'm sanding the low spot so that the next application will adhere. The only difference is I just took the piece of sandpaper off the sander and I'm just sticking it to my fingers. This is by no means shaping or blocking. All I'm trying to do is scratch up the filler that isn't already scratched up. I'm concentrating on the lowest of the lows. There's a bit of a high spot right there in the middle, so I don't need to apply much there. Here I'm going to toss the mixing board on the ground right in front of that exhaust fan, because before I apply any more filler I'm going to clean off the mixing board. You got to keep your mixing board pretty clean. And while I'm waiting for that last application of filler to dry or cure a little bit, I'll just put a few things away, do something while I'm waiting. The closer you get to the final application of filler, the more important it is to keep your mixing board clean. And when I'm applying my final fine body filler, I'll clean the board prior to the first application and in between every application, however many it needs, usually no more than 2. Starting to really be able to pinpoint the low problem areas and applying filler only there, and staying away from the areas that have already been built up enough or maybe even too much. So I'm going to cut the video here, and I won't videotape anymore until I'm ready to apply my final skim coat of fine body filler, which is not polyester filler, but it's something very similar. It's made by 3M. You may have noticed a second can of filler on the counter, which is what I'm talking about.